$6,000 up to $14,000 adult monthly checks. I have all the details and what you need to know right here in the video, so let's get right into it. I know in this video, I do want to answer a question and a concern that I've seen showing up down below in the comment section, and I do want to follow up to another video that I had out recently talking about ongoing monthly checks going out to some people and some households. Let's get into it and talk through all the details. Really fast before we do, thanks so much for joining me. If you're new here or if you haven't done so yet, please make sure to subscribe right down below the video. It's totally free to do so, and I'm here for you right by your side every single day, watching all the latest details hitting the wire and doing all the research and breaking it all down into these short videos so you can stay posted on what is actually going on and anything popping up right now that may possibly impact you, your money, your benefits, your lifestyle, your bank account, and of course anything popping up you can possibly grab and or take advantage of. So again, I'm here for you every single day, no matter what. Please subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet, and let's get into it and talk about monthly checks for adults and what does this actually mean, because there are actually pieces of legislation out there right now to do exactly that, and I want to talk you through all the dollar amounts and what is going on out there, because I recently had another video out that a lot of people here in the community were saying, but wait, what about us? Why are we not eligible for this? Why are they always focused on this other group of people? So let me break down the details and what I saw in the comment section on that other video that I had out recently, and why so many people here in the community are feeling left out, rightfully so. I totally agree with you. Let me talk you through the details, and again, this is all going to make sense here, which, by the way, I'm not trying to disrupt anybody. I'm not trying to, stir the pot or make anybody upset here. I'm just simply pointing out the things that are out there right now and what these lawmakers have worked on many, many times before. It all comes down to the child tax credit payments, right? Okay, so recently I was out in a separate video and I was talking about this new proposal that is out there to reinstitute these child tax credit payments that would go out to millions upon millions of households for almost $5,000 a year in the amount of checks that are just under $400 a month, okay? Well, as a result of that video, I had a number of people reaching out saying, I'm a Social Security beneficiary. I'm a 66-year-old. I'm a retiree. I'm a senior, whatever it happens to be. I'm an adult. What about us? What about us as fixed income beneficiaries? Why don't they ever do anything for us? Good question. That's a really great question. I think we can all probably agree they continue to talk about these things, but yet they don't really come up with all these different proposals for ongoing monthly checks for fixed income beneficiaries. Again, great questions here and a major concern. We've heard about this for many years now. And again, a couple years ago, back in 2021, the child tax credit payments were going out, and a lot of these questions continue to come up at that time as well. Again, fixed income beneficiaries, adults, seniors, many people asking, what about us? Why don't they care about us? Why don't they do something for us? Why do they leave us out on these things? Again, very good questions. But here's what I want to talk about really quickly. Right now, all across the country, there are multiple different guaranteed basic income programs that are currently going on right now, about 100 of them, and there are more of these popping up on a very regular basis with these guaranteed basic income programs. Now, again, more on that in just a second. Now, at the same time, there are lawmakers in Congress right here, right now, that do have packages and proposals on the table to send out ongoing monthly checks on a nationwide level for adults, okay? So when we talk about it, I mean, these are focused on just adults with what I'm talking about here, okay? So across the country, and again, you've probably heard me talk about some of the details of this before in other videos, but there are guaranteed basic income programs going on all across the country. Now, generally, these programs send out ongoing monthly checks, no strings attached, in the amount of $500 a month or $6,000 a year is what these programs send out for many beneficiaries, okay? Like I said, there's over 100 of these going on right here, right now, across the entire country, and there are many more of these popping up all the time, okay? These states have a lot of money right now, and they're setting up a lot of these programs. So these are a real thing. $500 a month in general. Sometimes it's a little bit more, but generally it's not really less than that. Usually $500 is about the pretty common dollar amount. Sometimes they might be $750, might be $1,000 depending on some locations, but I would say that's pretty rare. Most of the time it is $500 a month, $6,000 a year for usually a couple years, a year minimum usually, and then sometimes it's 2 or possibly 3 years. I've seen 5 years in one instance. So again, these are the programs. Now again, on a nationwide level, there is a program out there, or there is a proposal that is out there within Congress as well. And again, you probably heard me talk about this one before as well. This one again is focused on adults, okay? $1,200 checks for adults that would be going going out on a nationwide level that would be sent out by the federal government, okay? So this is, again, another one that is out there, and again, this would be strictly focused on adults. However, to be fair, there is a little provision within this same piece of legislation out there as well, which would also institute an extra $600 per child, okay? So it's not, I guess, totally 100% for adults, but again, it is at the same time mostly focused on adults, plus a little, kicker for kids as well to throw in there, $600 per child, okay? But anyway, this is within the Support Act. And again, I do have dedicated videos here on the channel talking exactly about this. We've heard a little bit about it here and there over the last couple of years. It pops up from time to time, and every so often we hear more lawmakers talking about it, or we need to institute ongoing monthly checks, or a guaranteed basic income, or a lot of times we just hear them say a basic income. It may not say, a guaranteed basic income, but you might just hear them say something like a UBI, universal basic income, a basic income, something like this, or a minimum income. I don't know. There's a bunch of different names that are thrown around, but it's all essentially pertaining to the exact same thing. Basically sending out ongoing monthly checks for adults who have an income under a certain threshold. In this case, it's $75,000 a year as an individual, $150,000 as a married couple. So anyway, the $1,200 a month, by the way, would translate into $14,400 a year is what this would translate into for beneficiaries, okay? Or the people that be getting benefits from this, okay? So at the same time, even though we continue to hear proposals out there, and yes, a couple years ago, in the second half of 2021, the child tax credit payments, the advanced ones, as in the monthly checks, and the boosted payments did actually go out to about 38 million households every single month, and that cost, about $190 billion? It's a lot of money, right? So a lot of money going out there for that program, and that was a thing that happened a couple years ago in the second half of 2021. Now, many lawmakers have talked about re-implementing these programs, and this is something they've been talking about for a couple years. Since that ended, we've seen multiple proposals coming out, and they've talked about bringing these back. And again, every time that we hear about these, the proposals coming out, there's a lot of people that are adults, fixed income beneficiaries, seniors, a lot of people that are saying, what about us? We have kids. Our kids are 30, 35, 25, whatever it happens to be, 40, whatever it is. Doesn't really matter the age, but basically, adults, fixed income beneficiaries are wondering, what about us? Why are we not included for something like this? Why is this strictly focused on just the people that have kids that are 17 and younger, right? Good questions. We need basic income too as a fixed income beneficiary or as a senior living on Social Security and $800 a month or $914 a month in the case of SSI or whatever it happens to be, right? So anyway, these are good arguments, and again, really good questions that are popping up, and I've seen this time and time again. Anytime that I talk about the child tax credit payment, every single time down below in the comment section, I see that. And again, very valid questions. I'm on the same page with you right here, which is why I wanted to talk about this, because there are actually proposals out there to do exactly this. Send out adult monthly checks. Again, generally anywhere between $500 and $1,200 a month is what it would come out to be, or about $6,000 to $14,000 plus dollars a year is what this would actually come out to be, okay? And this would be strictly focused on adult checks, okay? One more thing that I want to point out really quickly. Sometimes you hear people talk about this. Oh, we've advanced, or we've increased the adult tax credit payments. Wait, what is that? Right? They're generally referring to the EITC, the Earned Income Tax Credit, okay? This is something, it's a tax credit that can be generally, not all the time, so again, this is not tax advice in any way, shape, or form. Generally, this is taken advantage of by millions upon millions of low-income Americans, and you can get thousands and thousands of dollars back as a refundable tax credit when you go to file your tax return with different provisions and making sure you're eligible. So again, not tax advice, not accounting advice whatsoever, but this is a provision that is out there, and there is legislation out there as well, believe it or not, to increase the EITC so more people can take advantage of it, as well as more money coming back when you do take advantage of it again. So that's something, if you feel like you're eligible for it, obviously look into that. That's your own personal situation. Everybody's situation is very different, but when you hear about that, sometimes they're referring to, when they say something like adult tax credits, along with the child tax credit payments, if you ever hear that, generally they're referring to the EITC, Earned Income Tax Credit. Look it up if you'd like to, but that is something that's out there for those individuals when they file a tax return, okay? So again, just something I want to throw out there for you really quickly, just so that we can all be on the same page with this. Anyway, I want to bring this to your attention really quickly, and again, a lot of things that are going on. What it really comes down to is Congress. I mean, Congress. It's all about Congress every single time. We always wonder, what does it take to get this? What's it going to take to get that? What do we need to do to get checks? What do we need to do to get more money? What do we need to do to get relief? What do we need to do to get raises to benefits? The questions go on and on. It all comes down to, all fingers point to Congress every single time, okay? Now, in some rare instances, this could be done through executive order, but like I said before in other videos, highly unlikely, okay? Unlikely the president is going to come forward with executive order and do something like this. Now, he could in some instances. Some things can be done that way, but I would say in general, it's probably not going to be that way, okay? Generally, they're going to go through the traditional process of passing it through the House, passing it through the Senate, debating it forever, amendments galore, and all kinds of stuff like that, and then bring it to the president for a signature, right? Anyway, I want to talk about this really quickly, and again, a great question, something I see popping up anytime that I'd refer to the child tax credit payments, anything like that. Of course, I just want to bring this to your attention really quickly. So, I'm here for you in any way that I can be. Please make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet. Share the video with your friends, family, social media, and go back and check out any of the other thousands of videos here on the channel. Until next time, enjoy your day. Take care. Have a good one. And leave your comments, your questions, your feedback down below. As I get more information, of course, I'll bring it to you right away in these short videos. Enjoy. Have a good one. And catch you again later in the next